Here we go again. Lesson 28 of ukulele. We are running a tiny bit behind here, so let me go get this posted on the website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And today we are playing Aloha Oe, made famous in the movie, Elvis movie Blue Hawaii, but made much more famous by the fact that it was written by an actual Hawaiian queen, Queen Liliuokalani, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And it's a beautiful little tune. So, I'm going to update that. Let me make sure the link is working correctly. Everybody's probably like, where the heck is he? It's 12:07 already. And so everybody's reloading, and there we go. So let's make sure that it works properly. It's reloaded, scroll down, past there, Wednesday, Aloha Oe. And it opens up to lesson 28. That's exactly what we want. And then let me, while everybody's loading in, because it always takes a minute or two, let's go ahead and put this on Twitter. https://jollyrogerukulele.com. I've been doing this because I am under the naive notion that at some point Google will index us, and then people will be like, oh, well, I got to be a part of that. All right, there's that, and tweet. Probably if I would put it on Pinterest, then all of a sudden we'd be on the front page. They've really overemphasized Pinterest these days. I don't know if you've ever been on Pinterest, but you don't really need to be on Pinterest. It's a lot like Twitter. It's just this place where you put stuff that is irrelevant. Good morning, everybody. Lynn is in. Sorry I'm running late, guys, but glad you're here. Lynn is in from New Jersey. It's raining in New Jersey. That's probably normal, Lynn, right? Maybe. Janice is in from Scotland. Evening, mixed weather today, sunshine and showers. That's the kind of weather we like, right? And my favorite yesterday, there was a point where the sun was out, but the snow was coming down horizontally. So apparently it was snowing way over there and blowing it right underneath where our sun was out. So it was one of those days. So I get what you got going on there, Janice. Funny. Pan is in from Connecticut. Cooler day up there. Still nice. Happy to be here. Glad to have you, Pam. I know you can't make it in during most of the time because you have, we got things to do. But glad you're here. Linda's in from Colorado Springs, and Rob is in from Texarkana, 73, East Texas, 73 and sunny. Now that's getting pretty close to being the way it's supposed to be, right, Rob? I did notice, Rob, that you looks like you got another day of pretty violent weather happening this afternoon down there. What's her name? Is it Ginger Z? I think is what she goes by on Good Morning America. She says, I'm flying down there. There's going to be a bunch of tornadoes down there. I'm like, see, that's the difference between me and most. If I think there's going to be tornadoes in an area, I'm just going to go the opposite direction. I'm not trying to make this complicated, but that seems crazy. Let's see. Spring, yes, but we get droughts too. Okay, so spring is normal for it to rain out there in New Jersey. Nancy's in, 83 and sunny in Florida. Nancy, I've been noticing all of the parties going on down there in Florida. I've been looking for you in the crowd. I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping you're out there with your boombox on your shoulder. Oompa, 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 oompa. Pretty surprising. I don't think you're anywhere near Miami Beach. Am I guessing correctly, Nancy? It appears that you have to be about 22, 23. You have to be drunk as a skunk, and you have to have no shirt on, and that seems to be pretty much what's going on in Miami Beach, right? Crazy. All right. I was telling a friend of mine here in the building yesterday. I saw him when you're 10 feet away from everybody still, and he's masking. I'm masking. I'm going, man, have you been seeing those videos of Florida? And he's like, yeah. He says, I don't remember ever going to anything like that when I was in college. And I do. I remember going one time to a fraternity party in the hill, up on the hill, and And I went there and I'm like, I have no idea why I'm here. I'm going home. And that was that. That was the total amount of street parties I went to in my life. All right. We are playing today, guys, Aloha Oe. We're getting down to wrapping up. This is a stretch piece. So on day 2, we talked about here's your A chord, here's your F sharp minor, here's your D, and here's your E7. Okay, and then on day 2, lesson 9 or something, this guy. Okay, these are the three. This chord, this chord, this chord, and this chord. These are the chords you're going to be using today. Now, the big thing is we're going to take those 3 chords, which we started off as Twinkle, twinkle, little star, right? That's what we started with. Well, now you've got a whole nother level of crazy that you've worked yourself into, and let's just go sit down and take a minute to study this. Now, Aloha Oe was written by Queen Liliuokalani. I'm pretending I know what I'm saying there. Liliuokalani, 1878. Of course, the Hawaiian royalty there, real kings and queens, invited a bunch of white folk over to see the island. And she's like, have a look around. Things are great here. And the white people were like, you know what? We like it a lot. You're out. You are no longer the king and queen. We're going to bring in a bunch of accountants and we're going to take over the place. And that's how it's going to be. And then we're going to eventually work it out where gigantic cruise ships can pull up over there at the port in Oahu and let off tourists. And so that's how things went. And but prior to that, 1878, ukulele is a brand new instrument in Hawaii. She took she apparently, according to legend, really liked playing ukulele. And ukulele was the Portuguese had brought ukulele over to Hawaii. Brand new instrument. Took what was a machete, which is tuned a little bit more normally. It put a high string on here, put some catgut on there, made it into a much more pleasant procedure of playing it, and she apparently took quite a shine to ukuleles, and it is entirely possible that this was written on a ukulele. She wouldn't have tabbed it out, and she wouldn't have written out all the standard notation, but she would have written out the chords. And the ukulele is tuned differently, different eras, and it may or may not have been tuned to A, but ours is until we get to baritone, then it'll be tuned to E. And there's only 3 chords, so you're going to have your A chord, baritone, you're on E chord there, right? D chord, okay, baritone, that's A for you. And then E7 is this one, right? Okay, that's B7 on baritone. And so let's see. Nancy says, not too close to Miami Beach and not 21 anymore. Well, 23. Michelle made it in from rainy Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Raining up there. Raining is normal in Rockaway Beach, I think. So you have the 3 chords. Now, here's the challenge. If you don't sing in Hawaiian, if you don't speak Hawaiian, if you don't know what these words mean, it is a really hard song to sing. And it's why a lot of times when you go to your neighborhood ukulele strum along, they're never going to touch this song because it's just too hard to sing. And this is one of the very few songs that is ours, that is almost certainly written on a ukulele by a Hawaiian, a queen of Hawaii. And we just don't have a ton of songs that are ukuleles, and this is one of them. Over the Rainbow is one of the others. Not the real version of it, but the Israel's version. He did that on a ukulele as well. So that's why we play that one instead. But this, I think, is an important piece of music from a historical perspective and all that. It is also rather challenging to play, and so let's take our time through and make sure you know what you're supposed to do. Because it's unsingable, in my opinion, we're not even going to talk about the chords. Just make sure you know what the chords are. You will have your opportunity to play chords in a minute. Let's go through. We're going to ignore the ukulele melody line too, right? And as it's a stretch piece, hopefully things are starting to come together. Let's walk through the whole song, tough uke style. Baritones pay attention to finger shapes and that sort of thing, because when we get to your version, it's all identical. It's just in a different key. So first 2 notes are 0 on the second string, and then 0 on the first string. Okay, now we're going to put your A shape on, but the melody's on 4, so you got to add your pinky up here on 4. Strum that. Okay, hey Q, welcome in. And then we're going to slide down to 2. You could slide your pinky down, or you can just put your ring finger on to get the 2 after that. And then the next chord is a D chord, so you're going to put everybody on there. Baritone players, you'll put an A chord on. And then this is kind of challenging. Your pinky's got to go on 4 of the 2nd string. And you're probably going to need to pull your eyes off the paper to do that. Study skill perspective, you're going to, as a ukulele player, very often have your eye on the paper, see something tragic happening. You're going to have to look over here. What I always do is I want to look 2 or 3 notes ahead. All right, I'm going to get that 4. I'm going to have to look down to make sure my pinky's on the 4. But I've already looked ahead, and I know 0 and 2 are coming next. So when you're starting to look away from your sheet music, look 3 or 4 notes ahead, get those in your head, and then you can go focus in on the task at hand. Okay, so I'm in this D chord. I look down, I got a 4 there, and I know the next 2 notes are 0, 2. So I'm just going to plug 0, and I don't even need to take off the D chord because I'm already holding down the 2. And now at measure 2, I'll put my A shape on, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0. Then I got a 4. I got to look down. I've already checked. I got an E7 coming up right after this. So I got my A chord with a 4. And then I'm going to go grab my E7. Okay, 1, 2, 0, 2. Okay, I got a 5, 4. And then another E7. And then another E7. Okay. And then 0, 0, and then so that's your finish is your first thought. So 1 through 4 is one thought. My ring finger sure wants to press down. So I think what Rob is talking about is sometimes. Depending on the situation, right? Sometimes you're going to want to make your ring finger is going to want to be in charge. Sometimes you have to train your pinky to do its job. You've got to, if it's a 4, pretty much you got to make sure your pinky's in there, and that way when your ring finger is, if you find out, hey man, my ring finger is really trying to jump over and grab that 4, don't let it. The other thing that happens is probably what's going on with Rob is that when you put your pinky down here, all of a sudden your ring finger is trying to jump in and join the gang, right? Your ring finger does not like doing things on its own. It does not like hanging around off fretboard, but it has to learn, and it's to this day, many years into this instrument, to this day, my ring finger still has a life of its own. But I've learned to manage him in such a way as that he's going to stay up hanging out until it's his time to do the thing. And so isn't it fascinating? We use these things every single day, all day long, and we don't realize how shockingly incapable they are until you grab a ukulele, and then all of a sudden you're like, ugh. Right? And we have to teach them all these new skills. So yeah, just patience, it'll come around. Okay, measure 4, we did that last E7. Now we're going to do 2 more zeros, and it's going to go right back to the same idea that the song started with. O, A chord with a 4, add the 2, and then pull it over into a D chord. 4, O, pinky, and then an A chord. Okay, and then this is a little bit different now. Measure 6, in the end of measure 6 is a little different than we played before. So we've got a new idea we're going to be paying attention to. 2 zeros, and then a D chord. And I will usually just take my ring finger down and grab that 2, and then open it up. E7 shape, but this is hard. Your pinky's got to be on 4 again. So you got your E7 top with the 4 on the bottom, and then your pinky has to jump to the 1st string, 4th fret. Probably pull your chord off, go grab the 2 with your middle finger, and then measure H, resolving to an A chord. Okay, so let's just play that first 8 measures there together. 1, 2, 3. Your first 8 measures. If the tough uke's pretty hard, and again, always remember, guys, if tough uke is just making you sad, you jump up and you play the melody line. And we're going to go back through and play the melody line with chords. I'll play the melody, you'll play the chords, and we'll play it at a higher rate of speed, and you'll see how the song works together. But I like to talk through the tough uke on this one because theoretically, you are comfy with A chord, D chord, and E7, but now we're bringing in that whole list of crazy that we've been talking about over the last 3 weeks to create the melody and chords at the same time. Okay. Now, finally, at measure, as you pick up into measure 9, it starts to turn into a song that was sort of recognizable. So hit the 0 at the end of measure 8, and then put a D chord on it, measure 9, low, and then a full strum, ha, and then you're going to put a bar on 2 and a pinky up on 5. Okay, then you hit the 2, you're already holding it down. Go grab your A chord, 3 strings, and 4 strings, and then you add your pinky up on the 4 of the first string. Okay, and then 2 zeros. Put your E7 on, but your pinky, and don't worry about your ring finger, right? Just let it hang out. Your pinky's going to go up to 4. Then back to the 2, use your ring finger. Then back up to the 4. And then a 0 on the first string. And then a regular E7 in the middle of measure 11. 1, 2, 5. Pinky on 5. Slide it back to 4. And then add your A chord underneath it. And then open. Same idea here. Measure 13. Bar with pinky on 5. 2's already held down. Two A chords. 2 more A chords. Add your 4. Open. That 1, 2, 4 in E7 shape with your pinky on 4 again. Drop your pinky down the first string 4, and then a regular E7, one last 4, and then an A chord. Okay, and I put a bar chord on there, the tough uke there, bar on 4, F shape in front. That's also an A chord. My ring finger wants to hang out at Miami Beach. Oh, goodness. You can't go to Miami Beach, ring finger. Well, you can, but you got to be inside by 8 o'clock. Otherwise, you get tear gassed. All right. I'm going to play through it. We're going to take our time. You're going to know, if you're struggling with this, that that's okay. This is definitely a stretch piece. I'm going to go real slow. Then we'll go back through. I'll play the melody. You'll play the chords, and you'll see what a pretty song this is. Okay? So really slow. 1, 2, 3. E7, more E7s. Two zeros. A chord with your 4. G chord. E7 and the 4. I4. Go to measure 9. Measure 13. Pretty song. It's really lovely. Definitely hard. I wouldn't say it's any harder than the F arpeggio that we did yesterday, but it's up there. Definitely up there. There's no bar chords in there. Well, there's one little bar chord, right? Just the 2 with your pinky on 5. But for the most part, it's played in open position. All right, let's reduce the complexity. You're on chords. I'm on melody. If there's 2 chords in a measure, it's like on measure 1. Oh, da 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 dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum da dum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum. Okay, so that's what's your job. Okay, my job is to play the melody. Okay, keep your beats, 4 beats per measure. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I gotta give you 3. Sorry, I gotta pick up 1, 2, 3, and then I play, and then we start. 1, 2, 3. I'm playing the wrong line. Let's play the straight melody. I don't need to play everything. You guys are doing the chords. I don't need to play the chords. 1, 2, 3. Strum. Okay, so hopefully that's sounding good at your house. One of the problems with this song is it's Polynesian rhythms, right? They're not exactly what we expect from a lot of the other stuff we play, and so it can tend to be a little bit harder to strum. Da da dum, da dum, ba dum bum bum, ba bum bum, ba dum bum 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 bum, ba da bum, ba bum, ba dum bum bum, bum 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 bum, ba da bum bum, ba dum bum, bum. So that's if you're singing and strumming it, obviously you'd play it a little bit more like that. When you're playing it with a melody player, slow it down just a little bit, and when you're playing the tough acts all on your own, you slow it down a lot. This song is very tolerant to being slowed down, so that's why I like it a lot. You can play it at whatever speed makes sense to you. Rob says, Aloha Oe soft sounding like Amazing Grace, right? Trying to do it in this key. Yeah, so it was right there. It's exactly Amazing Grace. So how funny. Yeah, melody changes pretty quickly, but yeah, same exact idea. Beautiful. What else do I need to talk to you about this? You played the chords, I played the melody, we played the tough uke together, and we've talked about the fact you're not going to let this one song define you. If this song isn't playable for you yet, that's fine. This is definitely meant as a stretch piece, definitely going to be more challenging than Amazing Grace by a long shot. And give yourself permission to fail on this kind of stuff. When I tell you it's a stretch piece, I'm not messing around. It's definitely a harder song to play than some of the other stuff we did. Now tomorrow, when we have Scarborough Fair, lots of you guys are of the generation where you remember listening to Simon and Garfunkel. I'm fighting my cord strap again, and so that will start to feel like, oh yeah, I know how this song goes. And when you know how the song goes, it's a little easier. Also, when you don't know how a song goes, kind of on you to go to the website and listen to the MP3 about 200 times until you do know how the song goes. I would always, back in the day when I would get a new song, I'd be like, oh gosh, how does this go? And I would go listen to it. We didn't have all of the stuff we have these days. And so I'd go listen to it on YouTube when then YouTube finally got invented. I'd listen to the song a whole bunch of times, a whole bunch of different versions of it, and then I would go grab my sheet music and see, what kind of matched up. But these days, on our website, the sheet music that you have in front of you has an exact copy on the MP3. So you're missing out on an opportunity if you're not taking advantage, especially on the songs you don't know. You're like, okay, I don't really know how this song goes. Go listen to it a few times. Watch your paper as you're listening to the song. You'll be like, okay, I see what's going on, and then grab your ukulele and pull it up. Listening to the music while you're studying the music counts as practice. It really does. It's probably better practice in some respects early on in a song to do that rather than trying to fight your way through picking it out note by note. Get where you know what your ear is supposed to say or you let your ear know how the song's supposed to go, and then get your fingers involved. Back in the day when I took piano lessons, I worked out of one book for about 5 years. And that book was a book of sonatinas. And in my car, driving back and forth to work, I had this compact disc back in those days in my car. That's all I listened to was just those sonatinas over and over and over and over. So I could actually pull up a piece of sheet music out of that book, look at it and be like, oh, that's that song, right? And so I knew those songs very well just from listening to them. Made it a whole lot easier to tackle them when I was getting ready to play them. All right, let's go grab the baritone version of this and make sure that we have a general agreement of what it sounds like. Baritone players, you are in the key of E. Okay? And ukulele players, this isn't a great key for you. Your E chord, remember, bar on 4, pinky on 7. That's your E chord. Your A chord, you can go back and do the A chord we've been doing, which is probably what I would do. But there's also an A chord. If your bar is on 4, you can put an F shape in front of that bar 4, and you also get an A. Okay, and then your B7 is a bar on 2 with your middle finger, 3rd string, 3rd fret. Okay, so that's your B7. All right, baritone players, play the melody, play the tough uke. Try to play the tough uke, but if it gets too messy, just jump over to melody. 1, 2, 3. It's a nice little tune, and it is theoretically possible that Queen Lilia Kalani, while we say she wrote it on a ukulele, it was entirely possible that she was playing it on a machete, which did have a low string on it, so she may have written it on what fundamentally may have written this on a baritone. It's really pretty the way it sounds, don't you think? Janice says, beautiful in the baritone. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, right. Just exactly what I was just saying. So you got a song that's definitely more difficult, definitely part of our ukulele heritage, and something that I feel pretty strongly that it's not. I don't know if you necessarily need to memorize it or any of that sort of stuff, but know that you have it, and be one of those songs where you're like, oh man, I love ukulele. And if you love ukulele, you're supposed to kind of like Hawaii, and if you kind of like Hawaii, we love Queen Lilia Kalani, who was pro ukulele. It's probably because of her that we're playing ukulele today, and things didn't go particularly well for her royal reign over the islands. Back in those days, they didn't allow things like that to go on, which is so disappointing. But we can go to Hawaii and hang out on the beach now and play ukulele, probably because of the good decisions and bad decisions that happened during her reign of Hawaii. That's it. That's what I know. Now, tomorrow we're going to be doing another pretty tough song called Scarborough Fair. It's a very old-fashioned song, but it's also, a lot of you guys know from Simon and Garfunkel. So you might want to take a peek at that this afternoon, this evening. Just take a look at, well, Janice has to go to bed. It's late where she is. But the rest of you should take just a moment to peek through it and just see if there's anything crazy in there. I will mention, I'm pulling it up just to make sure you guys have the most recent version. At measure 13 in that song, the meter changes from 3 beats per beat measure to 4 beats for just one measure and then moves on. Because of the way Simon and Garfunkel sang it, they would not have they would not have had different meters in each measure. So when you get to remember me to one who lives there, 3, 4, for no reason whatsoever, she once was a true love of mine. Simon and Garfunkel added an extra note in there, and an extra beat in there, and so it sounds weird if we don't put the beat in there. So it's basically the song that you will have for tomorrow is set up to be played entirely like it would have been played in 1670, except for one measure, which is played exactly the same way as Simon and Garfunkel played it. So it does sound better that way. I'm surprised that nobody thought of that prior, but yeah. So that's what's happening tomorrow. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow are all pretty tough songs, so don't judge yourself. Don't make decisions about your future on ukulele based on those 3 days. What you're doing is I'm pushing you just a little bit, so that when we go back through, so that when you're looking at the songs from the rest of the time here, you'll be like, oh yeah, I have really come a long way. Okay, and so hopefully, right? Michelle says, see you Friday, vaccine tomorrow at 11. Yay, vaccine tomorrow at 11. Thank you for today's lesson. Beautiful song. Fun song today, and good luck on that, Michelle. Glad you're doing that. And Rom says, hey, I need help my ring. Well, if you hadn't let it drink, Rob, you wouldn't be having this problem with trying to go bail your ring finger out. I've told you time and time again, we can't treat this generation like we treated the millennials. We saw what happened when you grow up without consequences. They get iPhones and they stare at Instagram, and so we've got to start having consequences. All right, guys, that's what I know. Q asks, prior to Jolly Roger in our senior center uke class, our Hawaiian-born instructor said that with the resurgence of Hawaiian music and culture in the 90s, they play this at the end of each gathering. I have heard something similar. Linda Ewing, who lives in Maui, has taken this class, and she's now coming to the 1 o'clock class. But she also says that they have 2 or 3 songs that are very Hawaiian in nature. That I don't know if they play them every time they get done, but often. And the nice part about Hawaiian music, if you can take the time to sing and you enjoy singing, it's very phonetic. So it's all you can kind of fake it. But I always feel like that's sort of, I don't know necessarily if that's the right way to handle it, in the sense that no, you're not going to fool any Hawaiians that you're singing well, right? But you at least have the sense of, hey, we have this rich cultural heritage, and a couple of the things about the Polynesian culture involve ukuleles. That's what we want to at least have some appreciation for them. Whether we can pull off with any grace or style what we're trying to get to is another issue altogether. But yeah, so great thought, Q. Love that. Linda, aloha, Linda. I'll see you next class. Oh, you just got here. All right. Well, we just wrapped up. Good to see you, Linda. Pam, have a wonderful night. Yes. All right, Rob. We'll see you tomorrow. And Nancy, see you next hour. Can't wait to play Twinkle. I know we're gonna work out. Twinkle, twinkle, little star in the next hour, you guys. You might as well come play it with us. Okay. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and Au Clair de la Lune. Little old-fashioned piano music in there for you. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Adios.